Let me try to get myself together over here. What is good, everybody? What's up? What is good? What is good? What is good? What is good? Uh, Beat Chef, you're totally wrong. Beat Chef, you did not read the instructions. No, that's what assuming gets you. Totally wrong. There's going to be a couple nights out of the month where there will be a members only review, but there's going to be, it's cool. I understand people make mistakes, but then there's going to be some to where there's going to be free and there's going to be some paid ones. So that's just how it is. No, it's all good, man. It's all good. I make mistakes all the time. It's all good. No problems. No harm, no foul. But since I do have the members, I have to make sure the members get certain perks, and that's just how it is, with that. You know what I'm saying? But what's good, everybody? What's good? What's good? I thought I had this thing hooked up to where I could do it from my computer, but I set it up through my mobile account, so I had to do it on my cell phone. So that's why we're doing the vertical view today. But good to see y'all on here on a Friday afternoon, y'all. What's good, man? What is good? I see everybody is I see that everybody is, I guess, okay with the whole, I don't know what's going on. They got the whole outage right now. A lot of flights have been canceled. A lot of banks are going through it right now. I think my money's good. I pray to God that it is. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's a crazy day today. A lot of stuff going on in London right now. A lot of immigrants are upset over there. It's a lot of stuff going on. So it's a lot of things that's happening very weird today. So hopefully we can get some sense of world peace today. And hopefully we can have a good conversation today as well. So we'll see about that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the Microsoft servers are down. It lets you know how much of this stuff is connected, because 30 years ago this wouldn't have happened. You know what I'm saying? So it lets you know that sometimes you don't have to have everything. You don't have to have everything connected. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's cool to be disconnected. You know what I'm saying? That's why I like to do standalone music, because you can get disconnected from all the BS. But I see YouTube is still surviving over here, so I guess that's a good thing. I guess we're okay for right now. But yeah, so today we're going to talk about something just, really quick today. I'm not really going to go too far. I'm not going to go too deep with it. I'm not going to go too long with it as well. But, I'm going to try to read the comments and see what you guys are saying about it. But I wanted to talk about the number one reason a lot of producers fail. And what I mean by that is why they fail to not reach the potential of what they could be, so far as like working with major artists, or even being just like a major producer in the game and stuff like that right now. And I want to talk about that because a lot of people ask me like, man, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on in my career. Why it's not jumping off, why it's not doing certain things. And there's a whole array of things that you can talk about. There's a whole list of things we can go about. But but I tried to narrow it down to one thing that I noticed over all the years that I've been producing, and even some of the things I had to go through and some of the habits I had to break down as well. So there's a lot of different factors that can work into this, but there was just something that I seen over the years that just kind of made me think like, man, This is an issue, okay? And it's not consistency. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you, Brother Jules. It's not consistency. That's one thing that I can say. There's not consistency. Okay. A lot of people think is, oh, I got to go in here and I'm not working hard enough. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. It's not consistency. But one thing I do want to say before we really kind of get in the whole conversation, and I'm gonna try to read as many comments as I can. But please go ahead and hit that like button for me. Please go ahead and hit that like button for me. That thumbs up button. Please go ahead and hit that so we can get more people in the chat and the algorithm or whatever it is. We want to make sure that everybody's in here. What's good, Real Dean? What's good, Larry? Oh, what's good? You preach me. Man, appreciate you, engineered by Don TV. What's good? Y'all go ahead and hit that like button for me. We got brother Larry O in the building. You get me? He's in the building right now. I don't know how long he's gonna stay because he's very busy. But Larry O is in the building. You know what I'm saying? FL Studio connoisseur. Learned so much. Everybody has seen his videos. Everybody knows what he's about. Great guy. He's in here. You know what I'm saying? And then y'all can ask him, if he wants to answer some questions, y'all can ask him some questions too. You never know. He might answer something. You never know. You never know what could happen. But go ahead and hit that like button for your boy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, J Day, 81 Trey. You already know, Tampa, Florida, in the building. What's good? Joe Fire, what's good? What's good? What's good? Also, make sure you guys follow Larry O on IG. He has an excellent IG page, and he has it's like a channels page or something like that, where he has like something for people who subscribe. I forgot what type of extra thing on in the IG. He drops a lot of gems, a lot of jewels, drops a lot of plugins, gives us updates, everything that we need for FL. He has it on IG. So y'all make sure y'all follow him and show him some support because he does not have to do this. You get me? Side note, did the Microsoft outage affect sign up today? I don't think so, because the problem was there were so many people waiting on the sign up for the live beat review that it like crashed. Like literally when I pressed the button, because I have to manually do it through Wix. I have a Wix account, so I have to manually like press it to get started, which I got somebody supposed to be working on that for me so they can automatically do it on Fridays. But as soon as I did it, like 40 seconds later, all 10 slots were completely filled, and it had to actually kick some people out because the slots were filled. Now, the $20 slots, I'm not sure if they're full yet. When last time I checked, it was like a couple minutes after 1 o'clock. There was 3 slots. 2 slots can be filled, so you can go ahead and do that. For all my people who are upset that I dropped it down from 2 beats to 1 beat, I'm sorry about that, but at the end of the day, I want you guys to just give me your quality. I don't want people to just have 1 beat and then they give me another beat and it's kind of whatever. I want you to give me your best. And I think sometimes when you put people's backs against the wall to where they're forced to try to give you their best track or whatever, I think that it's going to be a better quality type of beat review rather than just, okay, I got 2 beats, I'm going to play this 1 beat, and I got another beat, I'm going to play this to kind of experiment with it. Nah, I'm going to hold a lot of you producers accountable, because sometimes in certain situations, you don't even have 2 beats. There's a lot of beat reviews, beat battles, stuff like that, where they charge a hell of a lot more money, number one. And some of these people will cut you off after 10 seconds. At least I'm going to give you a minute, 15, minute and a half. Okay? So give me your best. You know what I'm saying? Because if I don't give my best, y'all go in on me. You know what I'm saying? Like last night, the second beat I made on that live was a little sketchy. And some of y'all were like, nah, Bolo, this ain't it. So at the end of the day, if I got to give my best on here, I would want y'all to give y'all best with me as well. Just as simple as that. You know what I'm saying? So if you can't, if you can't give me your best, go to another beat review. Go somewhere else. There's tons of them. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I'm not sweating it about the bread or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? The beat review is still gonna go on. People are still gonna, give their beats and stuff like that. And it's still gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's 3 people in the beat review, I'm still gonna do it. So give me your best. And at the end of the day, all I can say is this, and I keep saying this over and over again, and we're gonna actually get into the conversation in a second. So just give me a brief second. What I will say is this: for a lot of you guys who are complaining, because I had about 3 or 4 complaints, which is not a lot, but I do want to address that. Just remember, when I got to Atlanta in 2007, my first beat review was, not review, but first beat battle. And the grand prize for the beat battle was $100. Okay? That was the grand prize. It was at the, what was that club on Auburn Avenue that's above? It's the Jamaican Club. But they had it upstairs in that club. Okay? Wasn't the Black Lion, it was the other one. But they charged $50 to enter the beat battle. It was $50. Okay? I lived in Lithonia at the time, so it took me 30 minutes to get there. And I had to get gas. So it's $50 plus another 20 in gas. It might have been 20 or 15, right? So you got to think let's just say 65 at the lowest point, right? Then not only did I not only had to pay the fee to get into the beat battle, I had to pay the fee to get into the club. And that was another $10. And this was in the daytime. Okay, what's good, Said? My neighbor Said Mac is on here, man. What's good, Said? So that's already $75 that I spent to get it, to get there, to get into the battle, and to get into the club. $75. And I was not guaranteed to make it past the first round. I only had, at that time, I brought 10 beats with me on the CD. 10 beats. And if you get knocked out the first round, you just knocked out that first round. That's just how it goes, okay? And mind you, I already had a big record out at the time too. So I didn't have to do it. I wanted to do it because I wanted to put myself in a situation to see how do I fare up against these other producers that are in Atlanta. So I did that. I made it to the finals. I got beat by a girl. I got beat by a girl. She was dope. She won. Did I think she won because she had the better beats? No, I think she won because she had a formula to how she played her beats. Okay? Because I was just like play 1, play 2, play 3, play 4, and she was strategic in how she did it. And the last beat she played had a really dope sample in it, and it didn't take any time for it to come in. It just banged immediately, and it came on. So shout out to her. I keep forgetting her name. She actually had a pretty good name around the city at that time, and then it just kind of faded away over time. But she got tactical with it, and she beat me. But I met all of the judges. They were producers at that time that was pretty big. I met KO, the producer, that did a lot of stuff with Tip. He was from Montgomery, but he was doing a lot of stuff up here. He showed a lot of love. And then that night, I got invited to go to another event. That was like the next day. I got invited to go to another event. I got to go into that event for free because of what I did. And then once I started telling people who I was, they were like, oh, I know that certain track because this is around about the time when I produced She Got It. So when I did that, I went to that next event. I got in there free. And then when I got in there free, I made sure that I bought the people who were there, I bought them some drinks and stuff like that. So I ended up spending my own money because I didn't have to spend money to get in the club and all that stuff like that. And they ended up playing my beat again the next night. The only issue with that night was when I left to go home, somebody broke into my car. Somebody hit the window and stole my Pioneer deck out the car, man. I left the faceplate on it. If you older guys know about leaving that faceplate on them Pioneer decks, man, yeah, they got me. They got me. I seen the guys who broke in my car. They actually ran over the sidewalk to get out of the parking lot so they wouldn't have to pay. And I'm sitting there looking at them like, look at these idiots going over the sidewalk, trying not to pay the parking meter, man. Cheap. They cheap as hell. And then come to find out they were the ones who broke into my shit. So it was it's kind of crazy. Yeah, I left the faceplate on, man. Man, and it was a good one too, man. I had the one where the thing came with a thing like it kind of lifted up a little bit. Oh man, that thing was nice, man. I think I spent like $230 for that thing too, man. Yeah, but yeah, they stole my thing, man. They didn't get my speakers, but they stole my radio. So it is what it is. But that just goes to show that how dedicated I was. And then when I got to Atlanta, I was doing that every single week for at least, I would say I got here, basically I got here August 1st of 2017. I was probably doing that for about 3 months. So August, September, October. Yeah, like November, I was doing that for 3 months. And some of these places I was going by myself. I didn't have no crew. Some of these places you have to pay $25, $30 to get into the beat battle, pay another $10 to get into the club. And then they did it by artist participation. So I would be there by myself. These other producers would come with like 10 people. The beats would suck. Their crew would scream loud for them. And then they would go to the next round. And I remember one DJ, I forgot his name. I need to find this guy. He still DJs around here too, but his name is slipping my head. But even he was like, yo, he got on the mic. He was like, yo, we can't do it like that, bro. He's like, man, that dude beat was way better than that dude beat. Like, he get to go again. And I was like, nah, it's cool. And then it was like, say your name, what you do. I'm like, yeah, I'm Bolo. I produce a song called She Got It, this, that, whatever. And the DJ was like, you produced that? I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, you're Bolo. I was like, yeah. He played my song in the club immediately. He was like, oh, he good. And he played my song and then played it again throughout the night. Like, we got Bolo in the building. I'm like, oh, snap. Atlanta does it like that? And that's how I figured out, like, just depending on myself, that's what got me there. And I had to understand that I had to do a lot of things and depend on myself and spend my own money. And I was doing this every single week, just about every single night I was going somewhere, because this was before social media. So you had to either meet people at studios, meet people at events, or meet people in clubs. Or if you ran into somebody, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, I had to do what I had to do. You know what I'm saying? I had to do what I had to do. And from that point, I had to learn that I can't necessarily lean on people. And that's what I'm telling you guys today. It's a perfect segue to what I'm saying today. The number one reason why a lot of people fail in the music industry is because they depend on other people. They depend on other people. That's why a lot of people fail in the music industry, is because they depend on other people to do stuff that they're supposed to be doing. One thing that I will say is this, is in this industry, you have to be hands-on with everything. Everything. You cannot depend on people to do the stuff that you should be doing. Number one, you got to get out. The rules in this industry has not changed yet, okay? It has not changed yet. You have to be able to get out, number one, okay? You got to be able to get out. You have to be able to meet people face to face, okay? Meeting people face to face is very important, because yes, you can be online. You can, y'all guys can watch me. Y'all can talk to me. Like, you got Toilet Smokes asking me where I get this hat. I got it when I was in Houston. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can talk to me, but you don't feel the vibe. You don't feel my aura. You don't know if my feet are tapping. You don't know, what's going on. You have to be able to understand that you have to get out, number one, and you have to do things that you don't want to do, but you got to do them. You cannot depend on anybody to do things that you're supposed to do. That's what we're talking about today. That's the number one thing people failing in this music business. Okay? That's the one. A lot of times people fail to realize that. Like, people come to me all the time. They're like, Bolo, I need to get with such and such artists. I need to get this. I need to get that. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I don't even know the artists like that. Like, to be honest with you, you know what I'm saying? I don't even know the artists. They were like, I need to get to such and such. I need to get this. I need to get that. I don't know the artists. But this is what I do. I'll try to get in with the artist, and then we can see we can put you on like that. Oh no, I need to get direct. I need to get direct with them. Well, then you need to go ahead and take the steps to find out how to get with that artist. See, the thing is, people want me, or they want other big producers to go out and do all the hard work, and then you just come in there, you play some beats or do whatever, and then you get the prize. And I used to feel like that as well when I used to work with real big producers and stuff like that. And I used to be in certain sessions or whatever. I used to always be like, oh, snap. I remember we was doing the sessions with when T.I. was over there with this whole crew and everything. And Adobe was over there, and I used to be like, man, I need to get some beats with T.I. I need to get some beats with T.I. And every time I try to play some beats, I really couldn't get my beats in like that because the owner of the studio was playing his beats, and he really had all the right to do it. And I'm like, man, I talked to the owner one day. I was like, man, I really want to play my beats for Tip. And he was like, you got to work for that. He's like, I can't. He's like, you got to work for that. He's like, you see Tip in here every day. Have a conversation. Get to know him. Do this. Do that. I just can't just go about here and I just gonna give you everything, because if I give you everything, you won't learn how to get it. And so a lot of times now, when I talk to people and they're like, hey, Bolo, can you help me out with this? Can you help me out with that? I would necessarily say, most times I would say like, hey, you need to find a way to do it yourself. You know what I'm saying? And if you learn how to do it yourself, things come a lot easier. But you can't do everything like this. You can't do everything, just on the internet and thinking that the internet is going to get you there. Now, there's been some very, very, very good opportunities on the net, and there's been some success stories on here where people just put a beat on YouTube and then somebody snatched the beat, and then now that beat got hot. Now other people are coming to you because you made that beat or whatever, and then you start your whole music career like that. That is true. But in 99.9% of the cases, that does not happen that way. You're depending on something else to get you where you need to go. And over the years, this happens over and over and over again, where people are just, okay, I need to align myself with a big producer. I need to align myself with a big artist. I need to align myself with this, and then they'll get me through the door. You know what I'm saying? But I think a lot of times what people fail to realize is if you sign to like a bigger producer, a lot of times the people want the beats from that producer. So you're most likely going to end up being what they used to call back in the day, a ghost producer. Now they call it a co-producer now. They got a little bit more clout, but back in the day, it used to be ghost producers. You used to want to work for a producer to make beats, and then that producer would put their name on it, and then you would get a tiny little bit of publishing, but it's like really like on some back end stuff. Like basically all the money comes to the producer, and then you have an agreement called a LOD, and the LOD will pay you back after that. You know what I'm saying? Called a letter of direction, where everything comes at producer, and then you sign a letter of direction, you send that paperwork up to the company. Then when that producer gets paid, you get paid at the same time if the producer was doing it the right way. You know what I'm saying? But like, that was the thing. And that's what people, they really think like, oh, I'm going to sign with this producer. And a lot of times these producers, you got to think that a lot of times these producers weren't getting the amount of placements that they're getting now. Like, I think there's so many different artists and stuff out right now that these producers back then, they would probably only get maybe 10 or 12 placements a year, but they were good quality placements back then. Now you can get you 30 placements a year, but the placements might only pay you like $1,200. You know what I'm saying? You might get a few up front money, but then if you're making the beat with 3 other people, you got to split that. And then with the streaming numbers being so low, you might make you $1,200-$1,500 off that. And you just got to be happy. Okay, I made $2,500 off of a placement. That's why I don't look at people when they say, okay, well, I got a placement here, I got a placement there. I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get that. But when you have quality placements, that's something different. You got to think of a Pharrell placement back then. You got to think of a Dr. Dre placement back then. You got to think of Scott Storch placements back then. Those are different type of placements than what we're seeing now. You feel what I'm saying? So it's a huge difference on how things are right now. But one thing I had to learn too is I used to depend on people who were scheduling my studio sessions. I used to depend on people who were trying to drop my beats off to people. I used to depend on people to help me promote. I used to depend on everybody because I felt like that's the way things are supposed to be. You got to, you know what I'm saying? You know, you got to have a team or a crew or this, that, whatever. But then I had to realize the crew I had wasn't really that effective. Like it was a few people, like my guy Rod, he was very effective. You know what I'm saying? He did a lot. He used to go out and find talent and do things like that. It was like, it was cool, but then there was a lot of people who were not as effective. And I lost out on a lot because I was waiting on people to do the job that I was supposed to do. And then later on, I figured out that I'm wasting my time waiting on people because you gotta think some people's priorities ain't your priorities. Some people have to work. Some people have to do other things. Me, I'm just doing music full time. So I'm waiting on, I'm asking people like, hey, have you talked to such and such? Have you did this? How you did that? And that's something I could have easily done. And I think it set me back a few years because I was depending on people to do certain things. I was depending on people to get me this placement. I was depending on people to take me to certain artists. I was depending on people to handle my paperwork. I was depending on people to do this. I was depending on people to do that. And all I really need to do was go out and put some hustle into my ass. And then I could have went and just got me a lawyer and I would have been fine. What you say said, and you got to be better than good. If you actually get a chance to play your beats, they better be great, exceptional, stand out. Yeah, it's all subjective, but you have to have the tracks to connect with artists. Correct. That is definitely true. When you get your shot, when you get your shot, you better be ready. You know what I'm saying? When you get your shot, you better be ready. Like for real, for real. You know what I'm saying? You can't depend on nobody else in that room once you get your shot. Once you get your shot at making those beats, you can't depend on anybody. It's all on you. You know what I'm saying? It is all on you. Like I try to tell people that it's all on you. And the people who actually went out, like there's so many success stories that I've seen where people have gone the extra mile to get their career where they're at right now, and they've all, the ones who were determined, the ones who didn't let anybody get in their way, they're all doing good right now. They're all doing good because they did not wait or they did not place the blame on people because things didn't go the way it was supposed to go, because guess what? They didn't depend on anybody. Now, what I'm saying is not the dependence on like somebody helping you. You know what I'm saying? Some people do need help. There's nothing wrong with help. But what I'm saying is, let's say, for instance, this type of scenario right here, right? Let's just say somebody made like a pack of beats and you want to give it to a particular artist, right? And you know that the artist is at this club or at this venue or at this place, and you're really trying to get it to the artist, but you say, you know what? I don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? I want to go through somebody else and then do it that way, right? And you got these beats and you're trying to get it to this artist, but you're really just waiting for somebody to take those beats to that artist. That wait can last a day, a week, a month, a year. And you just got to take those chances of it getting there or not getting there. But let's just say, for instance, there might be an event and that artist is there at that event. And I know, and y'all listen to me, I know, I get it. Sometimes you don't want to be in people's way. You don't want to do anything. But if you really want it that bad, nothing is going to stop you from trying to find a way to get those tracks to that artist. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So like, they trying to find a way. Cold Heat. Hold on real quick, y'all. Cold Heat, that's a good question. Is that K-Lec placement still waiting on Tip to finish his part? Is up in lingo with paperwork. I did my part. He got on there. I made the beat. Tip got on the song. I talked to Tom the other day. It's all paperwork lingo right now. So we can't put it out because it's Tip. You put it out, it's going to get taken down. We just kind of waiting on the paperwork side. I don't know what's going on with them. This is the type of stuff that happens. Like that song might not come out for another 2 years. I don't know. It's crazy right now. So, yeah. But like I was saying before, there's ways how you can try to get to an artist. Like there's a really good success story. It's a guy named Alex. He's a songwriter here. He was working out of a studio I was working out of, and Alex was really dope songwriter, really dope guy, right? And Alex was trying to get songs to oh my God, I can't remember the guy's name. Music Soul Child. Music Soul Child lived in Atlanta at that time. And this had to be 2012, 2013, I believe. And the spot we was at was on Peter Street. And Alex he always would talk about, like he was wanting to write songs and stuff like that. And he actually wrote some songs for artists I was working with. And he was really dope. Lo and behold, one day, Music Soul Child was walking down the street. And even though some people are like, oh, that's just Music Soul Child, I'm going to leave him alone. I ain't going to worry about it. He seen the opportunity and he went. He didn't wait for nobody. He didn't wait for people to be like, oh, let me try to find somebody's camp. He seen Music Soul Child. He was like, listen. He was like, hey, Music, how you doing? And, of course, Music Soul Child probably looked at him like, okay, what's going on? What's good? He was like, listen, bro, I got some records you need to hear. He's like, I got some records. You need to hear these records. This is what Lex told me, like the next day. You know what I'm saying? He was like, hey, bro, like, I got some music. And we're going to talk about that, Timothy. We're going to talk about that too. He took a chance. And lo and behold, music went up. And music listened to some records. And ever since then, it's been history. Lex has wrote for people. He's got a whole studio now. He has a full-fledged career, like writing and stuff right now, all because he took that chance. You know what I'm saying? All because he took that chance. Now, like I was saying before, Timothy Soprano, my homeboy tried to give Nardo Wick a beat pack and got beat up. Come on, bro. Now, in that situation right there, that's the part where it's like, whatever. Now, I know, was that the incident that happened in Tampa? Was that Nardo Wick? Was that happened in Tampa? Timothy Soprano? Was that Tampa? I can't remember what, but I remember he was talking. I remember hearing something about that. I'm not sure. Did it happen in Florida? I'm not sure. But that's a situation that you have to face yourself with. Now, I don't know the whole stipulation of that. I hope your homeboy is all right. I don't know. Yeah, that's the one that went viral. So what really happened with that situation? He just went up to him and they call it security, but I guess it's the homeboys. You know what I'm saying? Boys, the men did it with Mike Bivens. You know, a situation like that. Now, this is what I will say. I haven't personally went through that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe because I'm a little bit bigger. You know, I'm like 6'2", 275. I don't know. But I haven't went to that situation. What I do is I try to gauge the situation first, number one. Like me, if I needed to give some beats to Kodak Black, I know how he moves. I'm not doing it. I'm not finna go, because a lot of these guys are very spooked when they're out in public. So I'm not finna move. Like when it comes to certain rappers and stuff like that, and I see they got like a whole crew, I would try to assess the situation. I try to assess the situation and see, I wonder who can I get it to? Or a lot of times what I try to do is I try to find the manager or the management, or I try to find a cousin, or I try to find a homeboy in somebody's crew to work that way, to try to work my move, okay? One thing I don't do is, and this is what I try to tell a lot of people is, when you see people out in public and they have these crazy crews, those guys are there to do one thing, and that's to protect the prize, okay? Other ways you can do it, and I want you, for y'all that are on here listening, other ways you can do it is be around the studios where these people record at. You know what I'm saying? Like, one thing that I can tell you this, if you go to the same studio 8 times within the span of about 4 months, the people at the studio are going to get to know who you are. And as long as you're there and you're trustworthy and stuff like that, people will be comfortable with you there at some point. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, it was in Tampa. And what up with United Market? I'm gonna talk about that too. But so people were like where people record at and stuff like that. Like, once you get to kind of know people at these studios, sometimes you can be like, hey, who's coming through, this, that, whatever. Or try to get to know their engineers if you can. A lot of times their engineers are cool people. You can try to meet up with their engineers and stuff like that. I'm just saying different ways of getting to it. Everybody's gonna need some help. You know what I'm saying? What's good from the UK? What's good? Everybody's gonna need some help. Even like Timothy Soprano right here, he's a member. He's talking about United Market. Now, United Market, which I actually talked to one of the guys who started United Market. I talked to them about, actually I talked to them the same weekend my dad was in the hospital. I went down to Florida. And the thing with United Market is, I talked to the guy, and he basically told me, I was like, listen, before, because they wanted me to do some more promo, but I told them, I was like, listen, I got to hear some more success stories. You know what I'm saying? I got to hear some more success stories. I got to hear what has happened successfully with people who have used United Market. I don't think they're a bad company. I just want to hear some success stories of people, like producers, who are working, sending in beats, and they actually get it placed on a track or an album. And he was like, well, the problem is with that situation is, yes, we can get the tracks, we can take them to the artist, but it's still up to the artist to pick the track. And I was like, oh, you all right. Because there's a lot of beats that y'all play, like on the beat reviews and everything. I take them to the artist. And then the artist might be like, yo, it's cool. It's not what I'm looking for right now, but it sounds cool. It's straight, it's this, that, whatever, it's cool. And then it's it. And then some people like, Bolo, did you let the artist hear it? Did they hear it? And I'm like, yeah, it's cool, but the artist didn't pick it. So at the end of the day, even if you do get in touch with these artists, you still got to have a product that they like. Sometimes you might have to play that product 3 or 4 times for the artist. That's how Twisted Genius got on the Lil Baby album with most of his tracks. Like if you ever watch Twisted Genius's interviews, he'll tell you that he played Something to Prove like 3 times or 2 times or 3 times for Lil Baby before Lil Baby actually got on it. You know what I'm saying? So there is places where you can help, we can get help from, but ultimately at the end of the day, the product has to be good enough for the artist to like it. Just because you sign up with something doesn't mean that you're guaranteed to get a placement. It's just something that it can help you out. You know what I'm saying? That's just basically how it is. So, but truth be told, with any company that I work with, I got to see some success, because when I first seen it, I was like, okay, this is straight. It's cool. I like the concept of what they're doing. Everything is cool. I'm gonna do a video for it. And I actually went through all type of hell to make that video, because I had to finish the video while I was in Africa. The power kept going out. The internet was slow, even though I paid for the fast internet. I got the video up. It did pretty cool. But then after that, people were signing up for it, and then they were not. They were saying, well, I signed up for it, but then none of my beats get picked. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, yeah, so that's why I was saying, and then this is what, yeah, Coheed, I feel you on that. I definitely feel you on that. And that's why you haven't seen me doing any more promotions like that. You know what I'm saying? I haven't done any more promotions because it just didn't align with what I'm doing. But this is another thing that I keep telling you guys. Regardless if it's me, regardless if it's something that you sign up with, regardless whatever. And just what Said had said too, Said Mac, he just put something in the comment. He put something in the comments about even when you get your chance to play your beat, you have to have exceptional quality, especially if you're somebody that's new. You know what I'm saying? You have to have your beats and everything have to be above and beyond, because they have producers that they work with. A lot of these people have producers that they work with. And then those producers can come with some mid, and then they'll still record to it because they have that rapport with them. But then when somebody else new comes in, they'll sit there and put them through the ringer. I've seen this 1,001 times where I can work with an artist and I can make something that's, oh, it's cool, the beat is cool, it's all right with me. And the artist be like, okay, let's go ahead and drop it. Then there'll be another producer that comes in. This dude might have some crazy stuff. And the artist will be like, skip, 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 skip. And you sitting back like, dang, he skipped on that one too? He skipped on that one? And then the artist be like, yeah, you got some cool stuff, bro. I kind of go through it, this, that, whatever. But you know they're not going to go through it past that point. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to go through it past that point. But I did think it was a good service. I think it was a decent service. I'm reading your comment right now. We didn't have to pay. It was just, we didn't have to pay. It was disappointing. Yeah, but you got to think about it like this. And this is what I said in the video. What you have to understand about that is this is not the first time that type of thing has happened. It was just the first time it happened that you had other people saying, hey, they're pushing it out to the internet. Like there was actually a place where people were paying $50 a week and they were submitting beats, and you would upload the beats to the site. It was like $50 per submission or something like that. It was some crazy thing. It was like early 2010s, like 2012, 2013, something like that. And they had a gang of people on it that was upset. They were like, oh, I paid $50 for my beat and I didn't hear no feedback. And then people be like, well, we played it for the artist and it didn't work. And I remember they were trying to do some stuff for they were saying they were doing stuff for G-Unit and all this stuff like that. And yeah, and truth be told, I knew a few people that did it. And my one guy, he was really upset. He was like, man, I paid $50 for this thing, man, and they didn't pick my beat. But then when he played me his beat, I was like, I wouldn't have picked it either. Just to be honest with you. Just to be honest with you, like I wouldn't have picked it either. Because I know a lot of us, we feel, um, yeah, Taxi's been around for a long time. Yeah, they've been around for a minute. But I know a lot of y'all feel like, and I mean, just being honest, a lot of y'all feel like, oh my God, my beats are the best beats ever. My beats need to be picked up. This beat to be perfect for Jay-Z. This beat to be perfect for this person. I'm gonna save this beat for this particular artist. I'm gonna do this and do that. You know what I'm saying? And then you hit a beat and it's like, I don't know if that's gonna work. I don't know if it's gonna work. You know what I'm saying? Yes, music is very subjective. I made videos on that. Everything that we're talking about, I've made videos on this. Music is very subjective. Like last night, I made some very, very mid last night when I on my when I was making beats. Like the second beat I made, it was mid. But then somebody hit me up on my IG, was like, "Yo, I went and got rid of that second beat. That second beat was hard." And I'm like, "Huh?" But the consensus last night was like, "Nah, Bolo, that ain't it." And then plus I had made like 7, 8 beats yesterday, so really I was really out of it. But I still forced out like 2 beats. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Cole, I feel you on that too. It would have been, he said, I just would have been satisfied with a better way they could prove that the beat is being played for the artist, and there lies the big problem. Well, I feel you on that, Cole. I do. I do, but that's chances. It's chances you take. In this music business, you have to take chances. And I'm going to break it to you like this. When I first got to Atlanta, I had a CD with 17 beats on it. And I had to take a big risk because when I gave that CD to somebody, there was a risk of that person taking that beat and recording to it and selling that CD and me not making not a dime off of it. So I had to go out, spend $30 on a spool of 100 CDs, and I burned a whole bunch of CDs with the same 17 tracks on it. And this is the time before you had iTunes and stuff, so people were still selling hard copies, so they were making $5, $10 a CD. But the reward from that was, I would give my CDs out to everybody. I would go, you know what I'm saying? I gave a CD to Waka Flocka. I met him at the Black Line, walked on stage. Walked on stage. This is before like Waka blew up, but like walked on stage and got Walker's number and gave him a CD. You know what I'm saying? He was like, hit me up, bro. Let's do some beats. You know what I'm saying? Let's do something. Like, did that. I took a chance. Did Walker ever listen to it? I don't know. But I went, paid to get in the club that night, got some drinks, seen him on stage. I remember this one chick kept telling me, like, oh, this dude Waka Flocka, he's gonna be next up. I'm like, Waka Flocka? I'm like, oh, man. I go up there on stage. This is when they still had Hit Squad. You know what I'm saying? They were all in the club on a Wednesday night, the Black Line. My dumb ass walk on stage and holler at this man. It wasn't like he was rapping, but he was on stage chilling. I said, hey, man, my name is Bolo. I do beats. I did whatever. I did this particular song that my homegirl told me about. I just want to just give you this beat CD. And he gave me, he's like, here, give my number, da-da-da-da. And I told him there was another artist that I was working with, and the other artist was named Bama. Bama was signed to Jeezy at the time, and Bama used to be at my studio all the time. He was signed to Gucci, which you know how that riff was. But they used to go to the same open mics up in Marietta. And so they both knew each other, but they didn't really hang or like kick it with each other, but they just knew each other. But there wasn't no beef type situation. So I told him, I felt comfortable with telling him that. He was like, cool. He was like, all right, boom. Because they were both from the south side of Atlanta. So I got his number and everything. What he did with the beats, I don't know. What all the other people did with the beats, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So I had to take that initiative to not depend on anybody. I had to go and do things myself. So I did that. And then in turn, what happened was I had my information. I had bought the little stickies and everything for the CDs. I put my little face on it. And in turn, I ended up getting a lot of callbacks because people liked some of the beats. And they would call me back. They was like, hey, bro, I'm trying to buy this beat. Do you know if anybody's on it? And I tell people, I'm like, listen, I don't know if anybody's on it. I'm pretty sure there's some people that's on it. But this is what I'll do. If you like that particular beat, if you want to come down to my studio, I will make you a beat similar to it. It's not going to sound like it. I'm going to make something similar to it. You just pay me such and such amount. And at that time, when I first got to Atlanta, I think I had went from selling beats in Florida, like I was selling beats in Florida for like up to 15, sometimes up to $2,500. When I got to Atlanta, it was totally different because the rules were different here. It's like it was like a more of a love thing. I got here, it was like $300. It was like, I'll give you 300 for it. And I'm sitting there like, I gotta do it. All right, boom. And I'll make a beat, 300. And then I got some more beats. You need some more beats? They're like, you gonna charge me? I'm like, well, they already just made. You can take them. If you want to do something with it, you can let me know. And then that's how I kind of like got my name up. And I just started flooding beats everywhere. I was just flooding beats as many places as possible. You know what I'm saying? And some people are like, 300, how can you survive? Well, you gotta think about it like this. I was recording at that time. So I would get people to come in to record, then I would have people to pay for beats. So you gotta think at that time, I was charging $40 an hour to record. I was recording on average 4 hours out the day, if not more. So you gotta think I was making basically $160 a day. And then if you take that and you gotta put that on average, it's like 6 days a week. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta think I'm making $140 a day times 6, that's 6 times 6 times 4, 24. So I'm making like $840 a week. You know what I'm saying? $840 a week. $840 a week, non-taxed. On top of that, I used to, make beats. So I would sell maybe 1 or 2 beats a week. On top of that, it's another 600. So I was, you know what I'm saying? I was making some pretty decent money at that time. So, it was, on average, I was probably making on a slow week, very slow week, maybe 900. On a really good week, I could make 2 stacks recorded. And then my rent at the time when I was renting my studio, it was $890 a month. So I had to make enough to pay the rent and had enough to move around and do everything as well. You know what I'm saying? So so people might say, oh, 300, how would you survive? It was crazy. Now in Florida, I was making more money selling beats, but I wasn't recording as much. When I got to Atlanta, I recorded a lot. So if you came in, and then the thing is, if you came and bought a beat from me, you still had to record the beat. So why would you buy the beat from me and would not record it? You know what I'm saying? So I was doing all the recording and doing everything. So that was the way I did it. So I was making on average between $3,000 and $4,000 a month, if not more. And then I still had to pay the rent, which was basically $900 a month. So subtract that 900, so it would leave me with like $2,100 a month. And then that 2,100 would take care of bills and take care of everything at my crib or whatever like that. And then I still had some money coming in on the publishing side as well. So I was straight. It got me through the recession. Let's put it like that. You know what I'm saying? It got me through the recession. And some people are like, but $300 here, $500 here, $200 here, $160 here, this, that, like it all adds up. You know what I'm saying? And then and in a sense, it seems like it's a lot, but once you pay the rent, and then I had rent, I didn't own a house at the time. I was paying rent at a house, and that rent was $900 a month, and I had to split that, you know what I'm saying, with my ex. So that was another $450 out of there. Then I had 2 cars at the time. Then I had insurance. I had lights and bills and everything. So at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, I only had maybe like, once you pay all the bills, and then I had to travel a lot in Atlanta. Because like if you live in Atlanta, you got to go everywhere every single night. And then every single night I was spending no less than $60. So you got to think, 7 days out of the week, $60. Well, I would say 5. I say 5. I wouldn't say 7, 5. So that's $300 a week right there on just that, going out and meeting people and stuff like that. So I had to take the initiative to do what I had to do. You know what I'm saying? So and then at the end of the day, it's like it was a hustle, but it was a fun hustle. Like it was fun, meeting artists. Like one of my good friends in the music business is J-Bo from the Youngbloods, the group the Youngbloods. That's one of my guys. Like I can call J-Bo right now. Where you at? Come by the studio. He'll come through. And you got to think, I met him maybe 2 years after like one of the, or probably like 3 years after like one of the biggest songs. You know what I'm saying? He still had a lot of clout through the city. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes he'll come by the studio and he'll be like, yo, let's go bowling. And I'm like, all right, cool. And then he'll be like, I'm finna ride with you. He'll get in the car with me. We'll go way on the other side of town. We go into the bowling alley for free. We bowling for free. Might be young Jeezy in the bowling alley. He'll come up and be like, hey, Jeezy, hey, this Bolo, this, that, whatever, da, 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 da. And I'm like, oh, yeah, Jeezy, I work with your artist, Bama. Da, da, da. He like, oh, yeah, I seen you. You go to certain studios, or we'll go to down south studio where Lil Jon and them used to work at. We'll go over there, meet people like Shawty Putt, who's actually Lil Jon's hype man right now. You meet all these different people. You get to meet ATL legends, people from the Dungeon Crew, the Attic Crew. I got to meet all these people doing this, and I'm still recording, and I'm just living my dream during the recession. You know what I'm saying? So imagine if I would have put that, like I was saying before, imagine if I would have depended on other people to get me to that point. You know what I'm saying? There is people that did help me. Don't get me wrong. But I did not depend on people to try to get me to a certain point. I used to do it, but then once I figured that I shouldn't do it that way, then once I started taking my career in my own hands, that's when things started moving the way I needed it to move. You know what I'm saying? That's the cool thing. Y'all go ahead and hit that like button if you're on here watching right now. I know it's a Friday. I know it's a lot of stuff going on, but I just want to have this conversation with y'all because I try to give as much insight as I can. You know what I'm saying? I try to give as much insight so I can try to help y'all out. I think a lot of people, they're very talented. There's a lot of people who are very talented out here that make dope beats, who do this and do that, but they haven't had the experiences that I had. You know what I'm saying? And there's some people who have way more experiences than I had. I'm not saying that I got more experience than everybody else, but there's some people who have way, way more experience than I've had. But I know for a fact, just me even being in the situation when I had when I produced for Silento, when I did the Watch Me Whip, Watch Me Nay Nay record, me learning over with all of that stuff, not to depend on other people, me learning all that stuff over the years, learning from other producers, learning this, learning that, I learned to take that situation and do it the way I wanted to do it. I didn't depend on anybody to give me any advice. I didn't do anything because I felt like I was ready for that situation. And I ran that situation the best way I could and the best way I knew how to run it. And even though a lot of people doubted me from the moment that record got birthed to when we sold 6 million records in less than a year, people were still doubting what I could do. And all I could say was, I did it the way I wanted to do it. I did it the way without nobody having to be a crutch to me. I didn't have to depend on nobody. I did it the way I wanted to do it, even setting the deal up, even getting the lawyers on board, even getting his auntie and uncle to see the vision or whatever. And then shout out to them because they were very integral. They understood what I was doing. If we ever had any questions, whatever, I try to give them my best explanation. I would never try to overstep what they're trying to do. I would try to do it the right way. I would talk to his lawyer. I would talk to my lawyer. I would try to do everything the right way. You know what I'm saying? And to your question, Corey Wallace, to your question with that, Timothy, I'm gonna ask Corey Wallace's question first. But to your question, any regrets or anything you would have done differently? I wouldn't have partied as much. And let me tell you this. What I mean is, we still had to go to the clubs at night. We still had to go to all of the clubs. We still had to meet up with some artists in the clubs. Like when the artist I was working with, Bama, when he would come by the studio, thank you, Dehan Gordon. Thank you so much. Thank you for that donation, man. Appreciate you. When we would go to these clubs, we would have to meet with artists, and Bam would be like, "Hey, we're going to the club. We're going to not Club Mint, but it was another club. I think it was called. Well, I think it was Mansion. It wasn't Mansion. That was the other club up the street, but it was another club behind Club Mint on Crescent Ave or Claremont Ave in Atlanta. We used to go to on Thursday nights. All the celebrities used to go there on Thursday nights. Dope spot. And he would be there with Jeezy. He'd be like, "Come through, man. We got the section. We got this. We're gonna have a great time." Da 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 da. And I would go there to basically network. Of course, be in the section. Okay, it's cool. We in the section with Jeezy. Rubbing elbows, doing this stuff like that. Everything's cool. You know what I'm saying? But I should have used it more of a business situation, more as of a party situation, because I was in there, drinking, partying, this, that, whatever, and I got caught into the party scene. You got to think at that time I was 27, 28 years old. I was still in the party scene with that situation, and I was an older producer, at that time, and I got caught in the party scene for a minute. So then it started being to where I'm just so used to going out. Thank you so much, Timothy Soprano. Thank you so much. Me and you got the same first name, brother. It's all good. But I got caught in that party scene, and then it led me to start drinking more, and I didn't make a lot of smart decisions so far as business decisions. Like instead of me going to the studio to work, like you got to think I was in the studio. Crazy story, you know what I'm saying? Crazy story. I'm gonna give you one more story. Bama was at the studio with Jeezy. Jeezy was at the and Drake. When Drake first got on, this was and I told this story before. This was Cinco de Mayo. I want to say 2009. I think it had to be 2009 or 2010. 2010 the latest. But they were in the studio working, and my guy kept calling. He was like, "Hey, yo, this kid from Canada, this kid Drake, he used to be on a TV show. He's in the studio with Jeezy right now, bro. They in the studio working on some songs. You need to come up here with some beats." It was Cinco de Mayo night. I'm at the club on the South Side getting tore up with my homeboys. You know what I'm saying? I'm at the club outside getting tore up with my homeboys. And I'm like 40 minutes away, because I'm like on the South Side. I was at the Mexican on Old National. So if y'all know about the Mexican Old National, I was tore the F up. And he kept calling me like, "Yo, you need to come here. You need to come here. You need to come here." But I'm like, "Oh, man, Cinco de Mayo. I'm lit. I'm not thinking about nothing." So finally at 2 o'clock in the morning, I leave. I head over to the studio. And the studio was in the city. I get there, and they're walking out. And I'm like, "Oh, man," they're like, "Drake, pull up," and it's like, "Cool." And my boy's like, "Hey, yo, this is, Drake's people, this, that, whatever. Yeah, y'all know about it. You know about it, Tiffy Beats. You know about it. But when I got there, they were leaving out, and they was like, "Yo, you got some beats?" And my reply was, I'm still a little twisted. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I got beats, but they're from my homeboy Bama." Because at that time, I'm going to be honest with you, 2 weeks prior to me going to the studio to meet up while Drake was there, Diddy's butler, y'all know his name. He was rapping. He came with that song with Kanye and all them on it. He came to my spot, and he wanted me to do his second single, which that second single did come out. That was the single where he was walking through the desert with the windmills and all that stuff. I didn't do it because I didn't take actors that seriously when they say they want to do music. I didn't take it seriously. And then another child actor a week later came by, and he said he wanted to do music. I keep forgetting this child actor. He was on I think he was on Moesha and some other stuff like that. He was on there, and thank you, Soldier P. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that donation, man. But he came by, and that was kind of like a weird thing. And I was like, I don't want to deal with no more actors. But, I knew Jason Weaver at the time. I had just met Jay probably like a year and a half prior. Me and him was cool. We would go to certain things. And Jay was like still in his artistry. So it's like, it was cool. But meeting Farnsworth and then meeting, Miles. There it was, Miles. Miles was rapping. You know what I'm saying? And Miles was a little thug too, man. Like, he has a few chicks with him and stuff like that. Crazy. But high as a kite. But he came by, he wanted to do music. And then so you gotta think, I knew Degrassi and I knew the whole Drake situation, you know what I'm saying? So I ain't gonna lie to you guys. I was just like, oh, here's another, child actor that wants to rap. So I didn't take it as seriously. I'm not saying that he wasn't going to be great. I didn't take it seriously. So I didn't exchange no phone numbers with him or nobody in his camp. I didn't do nothing. I just walked straight on in. I remember Jesus was sitting in the studio and he was like, y'all boys is lit. So the first thing came out of my mouth. I was like, yeah, Cinco de Mayo. And I remember Jesus' voice like, damn. This nigga more turned up than me. And just everybody started laughing. I ain't think shit about it. So we went back into the back room. I made some beats for Bama. Jeezy was still working in the A room. We was in the B room in the back. And this is at the Blue Room Studios. And we stayed till like 10, 11 o'clock that morning. And I missed the opportunity. Man. I missed the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Why you never signed anybody? I did sign people. I did. I had groups I had signed. They just, when you sign people, man, and they don't understand how the game goes, it's bad. I got people still in the contract with me right now. And I haven't took a single penny because it's like, if you want to go, go. Don't worry about it. But when stuff messes up, they always want to come back. And I'm like, nah, it's cool. I'm straight where I'm at. Don't worry about the contract. It's null and void. Don't worry about it. So that's the way I am. I don't, if you don't want to be around me, go. But when the wolves get you, don't try to have me come and save you. You know what I'm saying? Somebody got a question. What you got a question, Pedro? What's up? And it was another question that somebody asked me, like, did you think that Nene record was gonna go like that? No, I thought it was the craziest idea at first. But then by the time we finished doing the hook that night, I was like, oh shit, we got something. I was like, oh snap. This little sucker might have something. But he actually was saying the hook backwards. The hook was watch me Nene, watch me whip. And we switched it up and then we added that second part. And I was like, yo, we got to put something on that second part. He was like, oh, watch me. It's like, watch you do your dance. I was like, it sounds good. Put it in there. Got done with that hook. It was all from there. And then he freestyled the verse part. How much money does a popular producer make? Millions. Millions. That's all I'm going to say. Like a popular producer, millions. A decent producer, 100,000 there, millionaire. A producer starting out and they have a big record, 100,000 there to a millionaire. You do probably a platinum single and you're doing it strictly with the record label and you're just a producer, a platinum single, it'll make you 100,000 there. But if you're like a big producer and a big writer, or you're a multi-millionaire. It's a little different now because of streaming. You know what I'm saying? But I think a lot of people make most of their money. A lot of people make most of the money off their publishing deals and stuff like that. So if you get a big single, you can get you a nice publishing deal, sometimes $200,000-$300,000, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that should you give away beats at the beginning of just to get your name out? Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, you're gonna have to take a loss, man. You're gonna have making beats is just like any other business. It's just like any other business. If you want to start a business at a brick and mortar spot, You're going to have to pay for the building. You're going to have to pay for the equipment. You're going to have to pay for the employees. You got to pay for the insurance. You got to pay for the advertisements. You got to pay for this just to get your business off the ground. So you're actually taking a loss before you make a gain. So even with beats, I'm here to tell y'all this right here. Do not be married to your beats right now, because you're going to get better over time. Give those beats away. If somebody takes them and uses them, there's ways you can do the takedowns. There's ways you can do this. You can sign up with BeatStars to, make sure you have some extra protection, or you can put your beats up online somewhere. Now that most people use computers, we have timestamps, we have everything, so it's harder for people to take beats. You're good. Let them things go. Don't be married to those beats. Give them out to as many people as possible. Give them out. Don't depend on all these services and this, whatever. You do that leg work. If you got to go ahead and hit up, I'm going to tell you something. Straight up. I'm going to tell y'all something straight up. Straight up. Be totally honest with you. When people hit me up in my DMs on IG and they're super persistent, I'll at least open up the message just to read it. Doesn't mean I'm going to go ahead and check it out. But if I see somebody who is super persistent, either I'm going to block them or I'm going to open up the message. A lot of times people don't block people if you're like, hey, I'm just trying to get some beats to you. If you don't mind, this, that, whatever. Cool. You got to be persistent in some way, but you got to do it in a nice way. You got to be nice persistent. Not like, hey, man, check out my beats. I got the hardest beats in the world. This, that, whatever. Be like, hey, man, I just sent you a link to like 3. And then you got to be careful with links now, because now you don't know if the links are this, that, whatever. Or you can just see them simply say, hey, man, I got like 3 beats I want to send to you. I don't want to send you no links, because I know sometimes these links can have viruses. Is there an email address to where I can just send you the beats directly? And meaning you have a Gmail address. All of you guys should have a Gmail address to where you can take the beats and put the beats attachments in the Gmail attachments, to where all the artist has to do is open the Gmail and press play. Everybody should have a Gmail account. I don't care what you say. Everybody should have a Gmail account. I don't understand why you guys still have Hotmail, Yahoo, all this stuff. Get a Gmail account to where you can take your MP3s and put them right there in the attachment, so all you have to do is open up the email and the artist can just press play. You know what I'm saying? I don't get it. I don't get it. Who's the most famous artist that you work with? The most famous would have to be, I did 2 records that had T-Pain on it. I did one record. Well, of course, one record had Jamie Foxx on it. And then I did a remix that didn't come out for R. Kelly. It was called the Echo Remix. I was supposed to do that, but it didn't come out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I got something against AOL, because you cannot attach the stuff and it won't pull up. So y'all get Gmail accounts, okay? That would be your best friend as a producer. Get a Gmail account. Like there's nothing else to say. Get a Gmail account. That way you can attach it to the Gmail. Then when the artist pulls up the email, they can just press play. And if they don't like the beats, they can just delete it. Nobody wants to sit here and pull up an attachment. Then you have to click on the attachment and then have to download the attachment first, then press play. No, people like to move faster. Dang, boy, how did you find that, Javon Brown? Wow. It's still on YouTube? Wow. Yes, the montage did come today. It actually is popping up on my phone. They just delivered it about 10 minutes ago. I want to pick it up, but I'm on live with y'all right now. But I can see on the cameras right now, everything's all good. It's just sitting out there. Wow, that is crazy. Man, shout out to you, bro. Wow. They took it down off of YouTube? I never knew that they even did it. Dang. That's crazy. I would have loved to see that. Dang, I never even knew that was even out. That's crazy. I would have loved to see that. Because I made the beat first, and then I sent it off, and then didn't hear nothing about it, but then I heard people say that it was going to come out. I didn't know even K. Michelle was going to do it. That's crazy. That's crazy. But yeah, man, like, you know, at the end of the day, you know, they made a 3-part video of him and her studio. That's crazy. That's crazy. I need to find somebody where I can get that footage from. Man, that's crazy. But yeah, so like for everybody on here, man, yeah, that's good old YouTube deep cuts. Yeah, man, they got me. Man, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. I really could have used that footage right there. I could have really used that footage right there. But hey, y'all hold on real quick. Let me go upstairs real quick, y'all. Let me get this keyboard from outside. Let me get this keyboard. Y'all hang on here real quick. Hang on. Everybody's on here, just hang on real quick. Let me get this keyboard from outside. Woo! Got it. The montage. Whew. That thing was kind of heavy. Ooh, man. Whew. Oh, man. That thing was kind of heavy. That was a workout. Oh, Jesus. Oh. I needed that, though. Oh, man. Boy, A major. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. When you said that last night, I was talking to my girl. I was like, you know what? I ordered this doggone montage, but I didn't know if it was the right one. But yes, it is the new one. It is a new one. Well, no, it's not that heavy, Els. But when you have to go up, like 3 flights of stairs, you know what I'm saying? Then have to come down to the main floor, then go outside, get it, then go up a flight of stairs, get to the kitchen, then get there, and then come back down to the basement part. It's a lot. Do you sell your old keyboards? Sometimes. I just keep them. I keep them, or I put them in storage. I got some stuff in storage. So, like, if you don't see me with a particular keyboard or something like that, it's most likely in storage, or the storage is like 5 minutes away from my house, so I can go and get it. Um, yeah. How much was the setback? About 4,000. About 4,000. About 4,000. But the thing about it is, I got good people. Got good people over at Zounds.com. They make sure I'm straight. You know what I'm saying? But I got some other stuff too though. I just didn't get the keyboard. I got some interfaces and stuff like that for you guys as well. You know what I'm saying? I got some stuff that we do some reviews on and test a few things out. Man. But yeah, y'all go ask me some questions. Y'all want to ask? Do you have? Oh, so y'all are asking me questions. Thank you, Soul Scientific. Bolo, do you have any experience with rack mount since I'm thinking about getting an Integra 7? Okay. I had two rack mount since. I had the Phantom rack mount and I had the Motif ES rack mount. Or was it EX? EX. It's the gray one. It came out in 2000. I had it in 2005 when I bought it. It was like, wow, how much was that thing? It was like 1,300 for it. The Motif EX rack or the ES rack? EX, one of them. I had that rack. Phenomenal. And I like the racks because you get all the same sounds and everything, and all you just need to do is just plug it up via MIDI, and you're done. You know what I'm saying? Okay, stump music. So let's go back a little bit because there's a lot of people coming on here right now. The number one reason is they depend on other people to do stuff for them, rather than them going out and doing it themselves. That's the number one reason. Okay? That's the number one reason. You know what I'm saying? And I put in a whole bunch of stories and everything, life stories and stuff like that. But that's the number one reason. It's a lot of producers out here who depend on other people to get stuff done for them that don't even. Now, if you got some legal work, get a lawyer. If you're a person that does not know how to mix your records, get a good mix engineer. If you know how to make good melodies and your drums are not good, find a producer that's good with the drums. Do that. But when it comes to doing legwork, meeting with artists, trying to get your beats to certain artists, trying to move your beats around the city where you're at, or going to different places, that's stuff you can do yourself. You can't just depend on somebody like, hey, take my beats and make some wonders out of it. No, you got to do that yourself. You know what I'm saying? When you coming to open a studio in Richmond, yeah, you need to. I've been to Richmond. Richmond is actually dope, but we went to a bar there in Richmond, in that little bar district down there. Richmond was actually pretty dope. It was kind of dangerous though, but it's dope. It was at the bar in downtown. It looked like a dive bar, but it had like a whole like club side to the bar. It was dope. Who's your favorite mumble rapper? All of them. I can't understand what they're saying. How do you balance being a creative producer to not having to put on a business hat? Over the years, you understand that a lot of stuff that you're doing, you don't have to do. So a lot of the business can be done while you're being creative. I have a style that I make my beats. I have a certain style, certain keys, certain everything. Once you have your style, you have your style. Like Zaytoven, you know a Zaytoven beat when you hear a Zaytoven beat. He has his style. That's why he can make his beats so fast, because he has his particular style. Me, I have my own particular style of making beats. And when I make the beats and I do it in my way, my style, I can get certain beats done pretty quickly. And then I have pretty much 23 other hours out the day to do all the business work and stuff I need to do. So if I got artists or if I got anything like that, I can take care of that. I can go record. I still record, but I only record my artists. Like, a lot of them don't want nobody else to record them. So I still go in the studio and record, but I try to take care of, things like that. I still, my kids are in football. I still have time to coach. I still have time to take them to practice. I still have time to, saying my daughter, she does dance and cheer and all that stuff. Still have time for that. I still have time for me and my girl to take walks and to do stuff like that. So I still have a business and a family life. I think a lot of people put too much pressure, and I think a lot of times people don't know when to stop working. Because I know one thing with me, with music, you have this urge to where you feel like you've never done enough that day. Have y'all ever had that urge where you just feel like, dang, I feel like I just haven't done enough today. I don't I feel like I haven't accomplished what I need to accomplish. But I'm here to tell you, you're fine. You don't have to like try to suppress that urge as much as possible and try to get out and try to enjoy things. Because if you don't, you'll be just like how I was last night on the live, and I was burnt out. Like I made so many beats last night, I was burnt out. You know what I'm saying? Oh, my bad, Tiffy. I will go ahead and get you that JIT. I'll go ahead and leave a link so you guys can get that JIT Fate 808 thing. I'll go ahead and do that. I'll go ahead and do it. I'll do it. I would definitely do it. I gotta call my guy to get the link to it. I gotta call my guy to get a link to it. I'll get it over to you. I will get it over to you. I'll get it over to you. I got you. I got you. When will you do a stream? You listen to artist songs, beats. I do a live beat review. We just had to sign up. It's full right now. I do sign-ups on Fridays at 1 p.m. So that's why this came on at 1:20 today. But I do sign-ups to do a live beat review. I want to do a song review as well. So for all you people that want me to do song reviews, I will do it. I just got to find out a time when I'm ready to hear the BS that I'm going to be hearing. Because I know it's going to be troublesome hearing certain songs. And me, I'm just being honest with you guys. Like if it's too bad, I just cannot continue to do it. I did it before where I did like a song review, and out of the 10 songs, everything was horrible. I ain't gonna lie, it was bad. The beats were okay, but the songs were horrible. People were out of key. Rappers were not rapping. Like it was bad. It was bad. It was bad. It was bad. It was almost like they were trolling. It was that bad. You know what I'm saying? It was that bad. It was that bad. Can you go in depth on what a producer can do to create their own sound? One thing that they can definitely do is just keep producing. That's it. How you create your own sound is what you're comfortable with making. Like if you make sounds with say for instance, you might make a sound with one finger and just beep, 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 and put some beats behind it. That's a sound. Like a Neptune sound. They use the same sounds. A lot of times it's just the same sounds and the same cadences. You might play one cadence one way, then you might deviate to a different cadence, but you pretty much use the same sounds. If you listen to even Pharrell, Scott Storch, Dre, Dre from hard hitting drum, dum dum dum. You know what I'm saying? Pharrell with the sounds that he used out of the Triton. You know what I'm saying? And what they were doing with the Neptunes. Scott Storch, what I'm saying, musically, but a lot of his stuff moved in a classical way. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just got to keep producing it. And then once you get to that sound where people like it, you just keep making more of that. Oh, it's on Reddit? Okay, cool. That's crazy. Now, the only thing is that Echo remix is because, there was like 3 or 4 different remixes with it. So I got to make sure it's mine. But I'm going to see if I can check it out on Reddit. You should start a beat battle, max 1 minute. I'm on that. Let's compete and connect. I might do it. I don't know. I don't like the battle thing. I like to just celebrate. I like to celebrate music, celebrate production, and then try to help people out. You know what I'm saying? Because if you do a beat battle, you got to come with the prizes and stuff like that. And then I would have to charge kind of more because I don't want to just give out no rinky-dink prizes like that. You know what I'm saying? If I could talk to a few companies and stuff like that, we can get some keyboards or some interfaces and stuff like that. Um, or some money, like, because you got to think, if you do a beat battle, let's say, for instance, I have 10 people in the beat battle, um, you know, winner takes all type of situation, got to be at least $25, something like that, 25, $30. Because I'm not going to be on there, like, judging beats and I'm not getting nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's time out my day. So, time is money. And I'm just keeping honest with you guys. Time is money. Like, if I'm one of those people, like, even if you guys had a studio, like, say, for instance, I'm where some of you guys live at. Like, if I come into your city and you're like, hey, Bolo, I got a studio. I'm like, cool. And if I go there and I do some work, I'm one of the people that be like, hey, how much I owe you, bro? I'm not one of the people like, hey, I'm Bolo in this mug. I ain't got to pay nothing. I always come through. The first thing I always say is, how much do I owe you? And if you charge me a price, I don't look at you no different. Just tell me how much the price is before. You know what I'm saying? So I can make my decision. Like, hey, bro, you ain't got no deals. You know what I'm saying? But I will pay you. Because if you came to my spot and you did some time, at least put the gesture out so I can say, nah, bro, you good. At least do that. Yeah, the beat battles are cool, man. Tiff, I get you. Like, beat battles are cool, but I just don't like the thing of pinning another producer against another producer and you win. Because at the end of the day, the artist might not like the beat that won. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people do lo-fi hip hop, but beats only. I think it's a perfect format to rap with. What do you think? Lo-fi is nothing but hip hop. It's nothing but conventional hip hop that they added some effects and they took the high end out of it. So yes, rap to it. I think that, yeah, them lo-fi beats should be rapped on. Thank you, LD40 Productions. What up, Bolo? Question on your number one reason. So what about a DistroKid online distributors versus reaching out to the city and states performing tips and growing? Okay, first of all, you got to understand what distributors are. DistroKid, all they do is they take your music, put it online, they service it to iTunes and all those places, and they collect your money for you. That's it. That's all it does. It's called an aggregate. So basically, you take your music, they get it, they service it for you, you pay them the fee. That's it. They're done. They don't do no promotions, they don't do nothing. That's what you do. You still gotta do promotion. So I still say, at least go out to these places, go perform, meet up with people, get little cards, where people can scan their phones on the card, stuff like that. You still have to promote yourself either way. You know what I'm saying? So, that's the this is just cool to where you can have your stuff on iTunes and stuff like that. It's cool. You know what I'm saying? But you still have to go out. You still have to be seen. Meet with people. Look at people's personalities. Get somebody. Look at them in their eyes. See if they're twitching when they talk to you. See if they put their heads down. Feel their vibe. That's the best thing to do. Like, on the internet, it's cool, but it's always great to feel people's vibes like that. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Bolo, you think CDs will make a comeback like vinyl? Nah. Mm-mm. It's like collector's items right now. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's gonna come back. I think they're gonna find a new format, which there already is a format out right now. Uh, but um, but there's ways that you can make your money. But some artists are doing CDs because one thing about CDs and tapes and stuff like that is personable. CDs and tapes back then are like somebody with their cell phone now. Let me give you a comparison. Have you ever seen somebody with their cell phone and they lose their cell phone? They're like, where's my cell phone? Where's my cell phone? Or if somebody just takes your cell phone out your hand like they're playing, you're like, hey man, give me back my cell phone. That's mine. Give me my cell phone. That's how it was with the CD, because back then you had to pay for a physical product. So when you paid $17, $15, $16, $17 for that CD, that was your CD. And if somebody took that CD, you were not able to listen, you know what I'm saying, past that CD. Unless you got it burnt from somewhere, but you still had to go buy it from somewhere else. So, you know, you kept up with your CD, and that was a personable thing. So even if the album was not as good as you thought it was going to be, you still listened to it and you tried to make the best out of that album, even though it probably was not the best because you spent your hard-earned money for it. The thing now is, now that we have iTunes and everything else, you just paying a one-time fee for all of this music. So you might listen to an album now for a couple of days and be like, that's cool. What's next? When back then you were like, okay, I'm going to buy this CD. I'm finna listen to this damn CD. Like, I'm going to leave here with something. You know what I'm saying? So, boy, that Master P Ghetto Dope case, you all right. Boy, the Fiend album and World War III by Mac. Woo! Those were the days right there. And Mr. Servon album was actually very dope too. Mia X album was cool too. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Magic album was cool too. And pretty much most of No Limit was cool. Yeah, that World War III boy was crazy. Still one of the best albums put together from the South. Like, for real. Hey, what's good, man? What's good, Brother Hunter? What I was telling people is one of the number one reasons was one of the number one reasons why a lot of people don't make it is because they depend on other people to get stuff done that they could have did themselves. Okay, that's what I was saying. Like, a lot of people, like I was saying before, a lot of people will make beats and then give them to somebody else and be like, hey, I need to get this on such and such's album. You know what I'm saying? No, you got to go out there and do things yourself. And brother, I need to get you in the studio, man, so I can record you too, man. I'm glad you popped up on here. I need to get you in the studio so I can so we gotta get a segment of you making some beats, man. Or just make a good solid one, man. We gotta get you in there ASAP. Like ASAP. We gotta get Brother Hunter in there. All right. Text my phone. You got my number, right? Yeah, text my phone. Oh, what's good? Thanks to all the new members on here, too. Are you ever in Nashville? Yeah, I go to Nashville. Let me tell you when I go to Nashville. I go to Nashville usually when I go to Chattanooga. Like, when me and my girl go to Chattanooga, we go to this place called Pier 88. We usually, get some seafood and stuff from there. And then since we're only a couple hours away from Nashville, we'll just go to Nashville real quick, maybe like stay overnight and then come right back. So yeah, we'll go to Nashville maybe like twice a year. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? What about being confident in dealing with haters? You just said it. You got to be confident and you got to deal with the haters. Listen, man, I'm gonna say this, and we're gonna talk about this on another live too. We're gonna talk about this. Thank you, Soul Scientific. Thank you so much. I'm gonna get you in a second. The one thing you cannot do is let outside influences determine how you should live your life. If you think your beat is dope, that's your opinion, and that's the way you should feel. I'm gonna be totally honest with you. There's some people that I've seen at open mics, when I would go to open mics, and their songs were not good, but they were so into their songs and so turned up that where the crowd had to feel their passion. You got to believe in everything. You got to have that Kanye type of belief. When even you got to think, even when Kanye was somewhat humble, he still had that belief that he was the dopest. And look where it got him at. And that's the way it is now. It's just it's more magnified, but that's just the way it is now. You know what I'm saying? So you got to have that confidence. People are going to say that certain things don't sound good. People are going to say, oh man, I don't think the beats are that good. I don't think that's whatever. That's their opinion. It's my opinion too. It's going to be a lot of people's opinions, but it doesn't matter. You could be on, people can have opinions, but it does not matter. It only matters how you feel. Even if people say your beats are not dope, how do you feel about them? Does it make you feel good when you make beats? That's all that matters. That's all that matters. So yeah, don't, you know what I'm saying? Don't ever worry about what people feel about what your stuff is. Yeah, people might clown you and laugh at you, but sometimes those people might clown and laugh at you, but then go home to a very shitty situation. To where they go home, they might not even have no furniture in their house. They might be lonely and single, and they just hang around studios all day, you know, talking about people's stuff, or they might have some mental issues. You don't know. So just be happy with what you do. You happy with what you do, it don't matter. That's why I'm not scared to make beats online. I'm not scared to come on here on live and make beats and show you guys I'm a real producer. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if people say your beat is hard. Doesn't matter if it's this and that. It does not matter, because guess what? I'm having fun doing what I love to do. You know what I'm saying? For real. So scientific. Hey Bolo, I make Boombap beats. Being that everyone where I live love trap beats, I feel like it's harder for me to sell beats. Yeah, that's the thing about it. You know, trap is easy. Boombap, you actually got to rap. But this is what a lot of people don't know. Per capita, let's put it like this. If you look at per capita, boom bap actually makes more money, because boom bap rappers usually have a solid fan base. They're not fly by night people. If you're boom bap, you're always going to be boom bap. And you're going to listen to albums. Why you think Benny the Butcher and the whole Gazelle and all that, they're eating? Because they have that solid foundation. So if you can just meet up with other boom, like it's hard in your city, but you don't have to just be in your city. You can, with the internet, you can tie into more people, or go to places where they have these concerts. Because a lot of times, this is the thing, at boom bap concerts, there's a lot of rappers who are fans of rappers. That's one genre of hip hop that I can say that. Trap is different. Trap, if you're a trap artist, yeah, I'm better than that other artist. I'm doing this, that. You know, some are fans of their music, but most of those boom bap people that's in the audiences, they would know people's lines word for word. And a lot of them are rappers. So if they have a show or something like that in your area, or try to set something up, try to say, hey man, you know, if there's any boom bap artists in the area, let's meet up. Let's go to this club. Try to talk to a club and try to see if the club will let you go in there and have like a little open mic to where you guys can do your thing and try to do some type of a networking type of a thing. It's easier said than done, but taking the initiative and just trying to do it, it might be something that might can help out. You know what I'm saying? And you're right. Kojak Music, it's a longer life shelf too, because boom bap artists, they can rap all the way until they're 80. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. Thanks, Ariel Cross. What's your favorite keyboard? I'm looking to purchase my first synth to go with my MPC. I'm really a rolling guy. And to be honest with you, you don't have to get one of these expensive keyboards. Like, you know, I got the Phantom EX model right there. But you can actually get the cheaper model. You can get the what's it? The Roland. What's that? What's the cheaper model? Because you can get something like the Core Cross. You can get the what's the other model? They have a few of them. I can't think. Hold on, let me see. Okay, I'm trying to think. What's some other models they got? I'm trying to think what's the other model. It's a cheaper model that you can get. But it's like $800-900 you can get, and it's got a ton of sounds in it, and you're good. You know what I'm saying? You can get the chord cross. That's like $800-900. But they have a rolling model that's very cheap. Like they had it one time for like $700, and it has 16 MIDI tracks in it. The MIDI Freak is good, but you can only do one MIDI track at a time. But you want to get something that has at least like the 16 MIDI tracks in it. What is it? I can't think of the actual model name. Let me see here real quick. I'm gonna tell you. The Novation stuff and all that stuff is cool too, but you want to get something that has multiple MIDI tracks in it. So let me see here. Rolling keyboard. I'm gonna tell you one right now. You can get you a Juno. You can get you a rolling Juno, the DS80. Not even that's the 88 key. You can get you a rolling Juno and that the 88 key you can get for less than $1,000, and it's dope. You know what I'm saying? It's dope. Like there's not, and it has all the sounds you would need in it, and you wouldn't need anything pretty much more. Like you can get the Juno right now, and you can just get just the keyboard. You don't have to get all the other stuff with it, and it's dope. I'm not even sure how much the 61 key is, but but you can get that Juno, and you will be more than fine. And it has everything in there. Let me just make sure that I'm looking at the right one. Yeah. Yeah. That Juno is fire. Like, just get the rolling Juno 61 key. But not the Juno X. I had the Juno X. That's only got 4, but it's just a regular rolling Juno. You know what I'm saying? Yo, I got flagged again saying I'm trying to meet people. I ain't doing nothing. I don't know why YouTube does that. They be flagging people. Just put your Instagram thing on here, but put like IG, and then don't put like the @ sign. Just put like IG : or IG something, and then put your name like that. Don't put the little @ sign, because they're gonna think you're gonna try to promote on here. But yeah, get that rolling Juno. You know what I'm saying? How is that Roland Zenaji bundle software wise? It sounds great. I love it. It sounds great. It sounds exactly like the instruments. Like, it sounds exactly like the instruments. Super dope. Super dope. But I don't use it as much, because if you're in software, what I tell people a lot of times is that Arteria stuff is incredible. There's so many sounds, and then you can double up sounds and create your own sounds. And I like to use Studio One a lot now, so I can take 2 or 3 different VSTs and bridge them all into one big VST and use that stuff like that, and I can make my own sounds with them and stuff like that. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. So that Arteria stuff is phenomenal. Like, the stuff that they got. Analog Lab is crazy. Analog Lab is crazy. Like, it's crazy. But like I said before, like, if you want to get like a keyboard, I'm trying to look on here real quick. And then the Phantom keyboards are dope too. But I would say just like a cheap keyboard, like they got the Roland Juno, the DS61, 61 key for $823 on Zounds.com. And you can do it with no credit check and just pay 6 monthly installments for $137.33. And you can click my link in the description if you want to go ahead and get it. Or you can get you like that Korg Cross. Korg makes some good stuff too. Let me go in here right here. I'm on the Zounds website. Y'all know I got that link in the description if you guys need something. You know, if y'all need some equipment, whatever, go click my link. It supports the channel, and that way you don't pay anything extra, and you can make payments over time using Zounds. But use my link though. Use my link. But Korg has they got the Korg Cross 61 key for $929. You can get it no credit check for 6 months, $155. You know what I'm saying? And it has 16 MIDI tracks, so you have 16 tracks you can play at one time. Okay? There's a lot of synthesizers stuff you can use, but a lot of these synths that y'all are mentioning, you can only play one MIDI track at a time. So once you get done with that MIDI track, that's it. You either have to resample it into the MP and then go to another track and do it like that. But with these are like workstations, so you have 16 MIDI tracks. So you can put a piano on one MIDI track, a bass on another MIDI track, strings on another track, horns on this track, a synthesizer on this track, and so forth and so on. Or if you wanted to group the tracks, they have a way where you can group the tracks where you could take tracks 1, 2, and 3, have 3 different sounds and group that into MIDI track 1 if you wanted to, and then you can take, you can build sounds like that as well. So that's why I try to get like a multi-MIDI type of a situation. You know what I'm saying? But y'all make sure y'all go ahead and use that link. But I'm gonna go ahead and pull it down. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the live right now. We've been on here for a little minute. And I need to go ahead and get off from here. But I appreciate everybody that came on today. Thank you so much, man. I'm really enjoying doing these lives like this. It's much more personable. I don't make as much as I would with the long form, which I still gonna do long form content, but this is just so much better for me just to do the lives like this. I think it's cool. What's this? Don't laugh at my Scarlett 806 kicking the bucket, but would you rather interface RME or the MT48? Oh, that's a good question, but I go with the RME. But that Scarlett, I'm telling you right now, the Scarlett, you're not gonna hear that much of a huge difference. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I'm just telling you. The only way you're gonna hear like a huge difference if you buy like a $3,000 or $4,000 D to A converter and all that stuff like that. Like you're not gonna hear like this huge difference. It takes a lot for you to hear that difference. All right, but the RME is better. It is better. I had that RME interface for a while. It is actually very dope. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, money and everything. I like how you said that, brother Babbitt, the Voto Babbitt. Yeah. But thank you guys so much, man. Thank you guys so much for coming on here. I will see you guys again very soon on live. Actually, I'm probably gonna do a cook up tomorrow afternoon around 3 p.m. Eastern. So stay tuned for that. I'm probably gonna go to my studio tomorrow and just do like a little cook up around 3, or I'll do one here at the crib around 3 o'clock tomorrow. So 2:30, 3 o'clock, you'll see me on here again. But hey, thank you guys so much, man. Thank you guys for coming on the live on a Friday afternoon. I know a lot of y'all are working and it's a lot of stuff going on, but I appreciate you guys so much. And man, y'all keep doing y'all thing. If you guys need some equipment, make sure you go holler at my people over at Zounds.com. Go ahead and click that link in the description right now. Click that link in the description right now and go to Zounds.com. Pick you up some gear today. They have a whole bunch of stuff that you can get with no credit or background check. And then make sure you guys go and holler at my people over at Analog Cases, because they have a lot of cases to protect your gear as well. I got all those links in the video description. So go ahead and check those out. And like I said, man, hey, thanks for y'all for rocking with me. I'm rocking with y'all. And like I always say,